I've always called myself a silent watcher. A silent watcher is a wolf that sits in the underbrush and watches everything that's taking place. It's not that I'm snooping. I don't like snoopers. I don't. I'm not a snoopy person. I just find enjoyment and I find great study in watching the habits of those who pass by. But I notice a lot of things, and one of the biggest noticeable changes over the past maybe 25, 26 months, dogs have really amplified in our lives and upon our paths. Before the pandemic, sure, we enjoyed our dogs. We would take our dog to a bar, an outdoor restaurant. Plus, we would always, walk through Home Depot and other non-food establishments. We love our dog. We really do. This was before the pandemic. We checked in with her all the time. Now, as of late, though, I'm beginning to see even more four-legged bundles of love and compassion in grocery stores. I see entire families walking their pet on a city street. The entire family, not just one person out there. Boom, 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 boom. The noticeable change is how much the dog isn't a dog, but rather a full member of the family. Jazzy takes a lot of trips with me in that car. Our work schedule is built around her life. I don't want her to be home alone. I wouldn't want my child to be home alone. I don't want her to be home alone. The importance of the relationship is truly making the dog a huge part of our home. Not our house, our home. Look at how much we love to dress up our little fuzzy babies. We spoil them with toys and treats. They are exactly what the dog trainer told us to never do. A member of the bedroom. Is there anything more comforting than sitting next to your dog? Hey, it's Arrow. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I write about dogs. I write about birds. I write about just life in general, because there's something there. There's a story always constantly living just on the outside of self. And it's fun to just pull it in and write about it. Find that escape. Build a bridge to something that it's there. Just get it to you. This is The Daily Mess. What the reader and or listener will never get to see in the days ahead is the blank page. The fidgeting of thoughts before they're set free to roam the open space. A lamp is always to my right. It gives me the most amazing shadows. It's like thinking with a friend. But who's right? The shadow or me? Can the shadow and the writer agree to disagree? Now, if this were a crime series, can the shadow be the killer? An empty page doesn't have to stay that way. It's a choice. But is it one that truly speaks your voice? Authors tend to pin out stories based on what they like to read. I often wonder about the lighting. I demand the room to be extremely bright, and you should see how bright the studio is. It's no different. I feel like a box of French fries in here waiting for a passerby. So many shadows. And I've learned to trust every single one of them, for it's within a shadow that darkness lurks. So I've got to ask you the question, does your shadow love you enough to keep your mind free of bad thoughts? And so, the mystery remains. Dun, 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 dun. I do like my shadow. And that's not a conceited thing to say. Shadows, once again, it's not that I'm codependent. It's just a shadow gives you that strength of saying that I am here. And the reason why I know I'm here because I'm carrying my shadow. And it's fun to sit inside this studio. And maybe it's because when I was a kid, I would do little like shadow animals. I would turn on a light late at night and I would sit there, and that's how I'd fall asleep. I would create these storylines around these shadows that my hands were creating. And the thing is that what I love about being in the presence of a shadow is the fact that shadows give you the opportunity to explore it, and see, you have the confidence to say, well, here I am in this present place of now. And when I go into this place, even though it may become dark, I always look around to see if my shadow's with me. Spiritually, yes, it is. But at the same time, here's what's going to happen. And I know that there's somebody who's probably thinking about this. Is that what do you do when the corner of your eye picks up on somebody else's shadow? As a third-degree black belt, do I still jump? Absolutely. Absolutely. Shadows do have that ability to scare me when I don't know where the shadow is coming from. Shadows are like the signal makers. And what I mean by that is that there are times that you're so focused in on what you're moving through that somebody else's shadow can easily snap through, break your concentration, put you in a place where you need to defend yourself and or just get ready for something that you did not prepare for. Shadows are speakers, but they have no voice. Shadows don't even have a face. Shadows are just shapes. I put my hand up right now and I can see the shadow over my daily writing. If I could take a snapshot of this, it'd be really cool. But the problem is with modern day cameras, it doesn't matter how fancy your phone is. The elegance of the photograph that you wish you could take doesn't really captivate or capture the moment of this shadow over my handwriting. Once the picture is taken of the hand over the writing, the elegance of the dance turns into a still moment. Somebody comes by, they see it and go, what's going on? Why is there a hand over a book? Do you trust your shadow? I said it right here. For it's within a shadow that darkness lurks. Does your shadow love you enough to keep your mind free of bad thoughts? I have a lot of bad thoughts. That's why I keep a defrag journal. And maybe after today, I should call that defrag journal my shadow. Because if the shadow does keep us from bad thoughts, then it's inside that book that bad thoughts are set free. The shadow. Do you love it enough? And does it love you enough? Are you able to create a relationship with something that's been with you since the day you were born? And wouldn't that be a beautiful picture? If you could just stop time and step back to an outer body experience to watch yourself being born, to see your first shadow, because they ain't doing it in the dark. I'm Arrow, and that's the Daily Mess.